3 years ago, I tested out Urtopia's first carbon fiber e-bike, the Carbon 1, and I love that lightweight, the agility, the Gates carbon belt, and unique display and handlebar design. Since then, Urtopia has launched a few new carbon fiber e-bikes as the company works to appeal to a broader market base. For the past couple of weeks, I've been riding its latest model that is fairly affordable and also more traditional than the Carbon 1. Hello everybody, this is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo, and thanks for visiting the Mobile with Matt YouTube channel. I hope that you enjoy this video and appreciate your consideration for subscribing or sharing my experiences with family and friends. I attended CES in January 2024 and I saw the Carbon Fusion GT while also getting a chance to talk to some of the Urtopia folks. That bike focused on AI elements with ChatGPT and other advanced features. The Urtopia Carbon Fusion GT had that unique U-shaped carbon fiber frame design, and as you can see in front of me here, the new Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro has that same shape frame, but a more traditional design elements and a price that is $800 less than the Fusion GT. At first I wasn't sure to think of the unique U-shaped frame, but after a couple of weeks of riding it, I appreciate the design for a few reasons that I'll talk about in this review. Let's start off by unboxing and assembling the bike before I share my experiences riding it. Despite the size of the box, the Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro is actually pretty easy to handle because it's fairly light at just under 50 pounds. I removed the top packaging material and then wanted to make sure I looked at the directions to see what the process was. Removing all of the different packaging material and the foam that was covering the bike was the first step, and separating that front wheel from the bike, because sometimes it's the handlebars or the front wheel. On this bike it's the handlebars first, so I loosened up the bolts, put the front handlebars on and put them in place, and then of course I put on the front wheel. The rear fenders were already on there and the seat was mounted as well. So after putting the front wheel, then I put the front fender in place, and then all that was left to do after getting that front fender securely in there was to put on the pedals and get ready to ride the bike. The pedals were pretty simple to apply, tightening up with the Allen wrench that was included, and then making sure everything is ready to go. The Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro is available in one size. It's designed for people from 5'3" to 6'3" in height, but it's also available in 4 color options. These options include the Vital Orange, the Deep Sea Blue, Elegant Gray, and the Blazing Black that you see in front of me. At first I wasn't sure I would like an all-black color bike, but the murdered out look with matte black everywhere, including on the wheels and the tires, gives it a bit of a badass look in my opinion. Let's start off with some key specifications of the Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro. Unlike most bikes that I review that have that 6061 aluminum frame, this has a Toray carbon fiber frame with a low step-through U-shaped design. It weighs in at about 48 pounds, but it has a capacity of 330 pounds. Has a 500 watt rear hub motor with 1000 watts of peak power, 60 Newton meters of torque, and also torque sensor programming in the pedal mechanism. The battery that's found underneath the tube here is a 36 volt 14.7 amp hour battery, and it's also UL 2271 certified. There's also an option, wasn't included in this review, but to mount a second battery back here on these mounting posts, and then it plugs into the other battery so that you have extended range, which I believe that's advertised up to 120 miles. The bike has IP65 dust and water resistance, 4 levels of pedal assist and a right thumb throttle, up to 25 miles per hour with pedal assist, and 20 miles per hour in the throttle. Has a full advertised range up to 75 miles for pedal assist, and I'll talk about my real life mileage when we talk about my riding experiences. Has Shimano Acera 8-speed shifting system, the Tektro hydraulic disc brakes with power cutoff sensor, Zoom suspension front fork with a 60mm range and the ability to lock those forks out. Has a very comfortable minimalist saddle with memory foam, and the Kenda 29-inch by 2.05-inch puncture-resistant tires that I'll talk about a bit later as well. Has a vibrant center-mounted LCD display, which is a bit unusual for a Urtopia bike that's used to having some smart display. Has a 40 lux front headlight and rear brake lights. Metal fenders are included. It is also UL 2849 certified, and as I mentioned, the battery is 2271 certified. The controller on the Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro is much different than we've seen on other Urtopia bikes. There is a left controller with a bottom button to turn the bike on and off, and also a button on the center above the display that you can use to turn the bike on and off. The controller is fairly simple. It has a plus and a minus button, and then a center M menu button. You press and hold that menu button to access the settings on the display, use it up and down to select the different options, and then use the center menu button to select those options in the settings. Now by default, the bike comes as a Class 2 bike, which is 20 miles per hour on the throttle and 20 miles per hour pedal assist. But you can simply change that to Class 3 with a 25 mile per hour top speed for pedal assist in those settings. In those up and down arrows, the plus and the minus changes you through 4 different assist modes: Eco, Tour, Boost, and Turbo. And I'll talk about the performance of those modes in a little bit. It's a very simple controller, and that color display is in the center, mounted between an aluminum frame on the handlebars to keep it protected and also provide a vibrant LCD display. Pressing that menu button without pressing and hold it will toggle you through some different aspects of the display itself, some of the different stats and what the power provided by the rider and the power provided by the bike and things like that. Carbon fiber as a material is lighter, stronger, stiffer, and more resistant to fatigue than aluminum. The material absorbs and dissipates vibration, so your ride is very comfortable for long periods in the saddle. The lighter weight I mentioned is a big deal for this bike. This bike is less than 50 pounds. I believe it weighs in right at about 48 pounds. And for a bike that's so large, that's actually a very reasonable weight. Let's talk about some of my experiences with this bike. So with that smaller 500 watt motor and the 65 Newton meters of torque, I really didn't think that the throttle only would power me up my 13 to 15% incline, and it didn't. I've never tested a 500 watt motor bike that propels me up that steep hill. However, having it in turbo mode and a lower gear did make it very easy to maintain 10 to 12 miles per hour up the steepest hills, and that lighter weight of the bike also helps get me up those hills. And hills around the neighborhood and my work with much less incline were actually great. The bike was able to go up with those with throttle, and I honestly use pedal assist most of the time because I like that experience and the torque sensor on the bike. Much of the time I'm riding around in very flat areas, so using the throttle, I was able to get up to 20 miles per hour with that throttle, and that's where it stops. It's not going to be one of those bikes that advertises Class 3 and then bumps you up to 25, 28 miles per hour on the throttle. The throttle provides that assistance just up to 20 miles per hour, and it provides that at all levels of pedal assist. So whether you push Eco all the way up to Turbo, no matter which level you have, the full throttle is going to be available to you. And of course, when pedal assist level is turned to the lowest level, there is no throttle at all, and that throttle is over on the right side. It's a nice thumb throttle. In my testing, I measured about 25 to 30 mile range in throttle only mode. While riding on the roads with traffic during my commute, I had the bike in turbo mode and unlocked a Class 3, so I was able to get up to 24 miles per hour with fairly easy effort of pedaling. With about that same level of effort, I measured the following speeds for the various levels of pedal assist. Eco mode, I got about 12 to 13 miles per hour. In Tour mode, I got about 15 to 17 miles per hour. In Boost mode, I got about 20 to 21 miles per hour. And in Turbo mode, I achieved that full 24 miles per hour. Some people may get 25 miles per hour, and with a little bit more effort, I was able to get that, but just kind of maintaining that effort, you can see that that level of assist is quite substantial in a couple miles on each level. Urtopia advertises a 75 mile range in pedal assist for a 180 pound person in Eco mode. I didn't ride most of the time in Eco mode. I preferred to ride in Tour and Boost mode, and weighing in at 240 pounds, I saw a range of about 50 miles in my riding, which is still pretty long range, and I think that having that carbon fiber frame really helps with that light weight, and it's very comfortable to ride for up to those 50 miles for sure. If the battery dies and you need to ride the bike, the Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro is a fairly light bike for a large e-bike, and I had no problem at all riding it with no assistance. I actually spent a little bit of time riding it, more so than other bikes, with no assistance at all, just to kind of see what the ride felt like. With these big tires, it feels a lot like a mountain bike, and I really enjoyed that. So I won't want to ride up steep hills with this bike because of the weight, but flat surfaces, it's a great bike, and you can just ride it as a standard bicycle and get some exercise. If you pop that battery out, you might save yourself 7-8 pounds or so, and then you can even have a lighter bike, maybe in that 40-pound range, and enjoy it with no battery assistance at all. There's a few things to love about this bike. That carbon fiber frame looks great, feels great. It provides a smooth ride. It rides very well, and that matte black finish looks awesome. There's something very appealing about a larger bike that feels so light and still provides me with ample assistance. Those large 29-inch tires and wheels and the wide handlebars definitely give me a feel that this bike is a mountain bike. And as a taller rider, I love that. It's very, very comfortable. Sit up tall, ride that bike like a mountain bike, feel those tires hitting the pavement, and the bike actually performs very well on single track trails too. I did take it up in some local woods and rode it around on those single tracks, and it's a great bike for commuting and for trail riding. Another kind of subtle thing that I really do like is I love the placement of the bell on the left side of the handlebars. It's set sideways, but that thumb activation for the bell is just below where you would thumb activate the controller, and that's something we don't see on a lot of bikes, but there's actually thought put into how this bell is mounted for safety reasons, and that's great. Now with all bikes, there's always room for improvement, and as many bikes as I test, I do notice a few things. So because of my commute requires that I carry the bike up and down stairs at the end of the train ride, it is a bit awkward to carry this bike using the handle on the back of the seat. So the seat has a little bit of a handle here, but when I have the seat up so high for my height, grabbing the bike up that high is a bit awkward. I actually found it better to reach down and grab this frame, and then again, with a carbon fiber frame, it's very comfortable, smooth on your hand, easy to grab. So I didn't actually use the seat for carrying it. I reached down and used the frame to carry it. One annoyance that keeps me from switching riders easily on this bike is that you need an Allen wrench to adjust the seat height. It's not like a quick release height like most bikes have. You have to use the Allen wrench, move it up and down, and then kind of hold it as you wrench it. Many bikes with that quick release, you simply put it in position, fold that clamp over and secure that, and I really prefer that. Not a huge fan, and I'm not quite sure why they went with an Allen wrench design on this seat. The Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro is available now for $1,999. That second external battery that I mentioned can be purchased for $349, and you can also buy a rear rack for $99, and if you do buy that rear rack, it has a 60-pound capacity. The Urtopia Carbon Fusion Pro takes a bit of a step back from the advanced technology of the smart connected bike approach that Urtopia started with. Its first bikes launched with embedded intelligence, chat GPT, and wireless connectivity. Those smart bike functions are interesting, but honestly, I didn't use them that much, and they were more of a novelty rather than a requirement. I think this bike will appeal to many more riders, and it is priced competitively with aluminum e-bikes. I'm a real fan of that lightweight carbon fiber frame, the unique good looks, and the comfortable ride. The big mountain bike sized tires appeal to me too, as a taller rider, and that raised upright riding experience is very, very comfortable. Range is also great on the bike, and when you look across the e-bike market, that carbon fiber build adds about $500 to the full package when you look at an equivalent aluminum e-bike. And for me, that $500 may be worth it for the longevity of this frame and this bike. Thanks to Urtopia for an opportunity to test out the Carbon Fusion Pro for a few weeks. I'm definitely considering one for my daily commuter, but I think I would select that cool deep sea blue color that I see on the website. And I would also purchase that rear rack so that I could mount panniers and leave the backpack behind. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe and share, interact with me here, and stay tuned for more coverage of e-bikes, wearables, and other mobile technology. And may the mobile force be with you.